Hi, my name is Lydia, and I'm here hanging out with the ladies of Mumnation, and we are going to discuss my journey with infertility. So for the last 10 years, I have been on a search or a journey to give birth or to have a baby, and I'm going to share what my journey has been like, the do's and don'ts, and the challenges I have had, and so that you can learn something new and that you can help your friends or those in the same journey that I have been on.
When did you discover? Okay, first I have a question. Mm-hmm. How do I address infertility to you?
As that, infertility.
So,
when did I discover that the babies were not coming?
yes.
How has your journey been?
And
What
how-
has been
yeah.
your journey?
So the doctor will tell you it is after having a period of trying for 1 year, actively trying, as they say, and the baby is not coming, then there has to now be intervention of some sort.
Actively trying is timing,
ovulation, tracking it.
Okay.
No
For 1 year?
contraception.
No contraception.
For 1 year?
Yes, for 1 year.
Style.
Every
Must
month
I
I am for, first I practice the styles, then I'm
Trying.
ovulating at this time.
yeah.
And so we are having
for 12 months.
for 12 months. So if in those 12 months it's not happening,
Nothing happens.
then you go now see the doctor.
Now
when
then there's
when
an
you went to
issue.
see the doctor?
So first visit, when I go see the doctor decides it must be me who doesn't understand this whole process. So I'm
Of
taught
conception?
Of conception. So I'm taught what is ovulation, when does
Even
it
tips.
happen, the calendars, the tips, how
Tips
to
and
tricks of how to do this. Then I come back after 3 months, I'm like, it's not working. Then now
This your guidelines.
This is your guidelines,
And
but
as
not
you're being
working.
given all these guidelines, is the man also being given
I mean,
guidelines and tips?
He's meant to come with you for the visit. However, this is a Kenyan man, so you may see him once or twice.
Right.
Yeah.
Hiyo ni mambo ya wamama.
Here, remember our mama? Yes.
Wait, can I take you back to the active sex? So at which point does it now start becoming this, we have to do this? Does it reach a point where you're not enjoying the sex? It's just,
Yes.
it's a job.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
There's
You're
a- there's a
focusing.
different purpose.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely at some point, because it's timed. Like
It's timed. Oh.
it's
Come
14th.
now, come
Yes,
now.
It's today, the 15th, whether you're in the mood or not, or whether he's in the mood or not. It is
Yeah.
today. And we have this 72-hour
Window.
Oh, there's
Window.
a window.
Yeah.
Yes. And for the ovulation, it's 24 hours. After you ovulate, after 24 hours after ovulation, you can't get pregnant. So
Did you at some point hate having sex?
yes, you do. You find it
Yeah.
cumbersome. You find
Yeah,
it very
because it's
cumbersome.
Every month.
It's for a project.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then,
And
But
then
it's not also every month. It's several times in a week.
No, they actually tell you how to do it. Like
Oh, okay.
So you're scheduled.
you're scheduled. There's like a small schedule you will follow, and then after which then you now start the intervention. So you'll start with, everyone knows either Clomid or the letrozole, depending on your doctor, that is meant to assist you to ovulate. Then you do, like, for me, I did 5 cycles of Clomid. It wasn't working.
This
That's
Clomid
my
and whatever
plan.
are hormones.
They're hormones.
They're
so it's
hormones.
a tablet you swallow, and then they keep increasing the dosage.
And
So
when you
the
say cycles, it's a month.
it's month.
Okay.
So cycle 1 ends. Doctor is like, okay, we're adding
Nothing.
The dose.
tuongeze.
And they have side effects. These drugs.
Definitely.
hormones,
And
yeah.
I
let me ask,
remember
this is
I used to get
before-
headaches that were out of this world.
So this is before they ascertain what is making you not conceive.
So there are tests they'll take you through to make sure that, to figure out what the problem is. So
First.
for me, it was suspected I'm not ovulating. So you will do something called a transvaginal scan. TVS. Those were the worst days of my life. Anyway, so they, so you go for a scan. You've all given birth, so your scans are usually on top of your tummy.
Yeah.
This one is through
Or
your
the inside
vagina.
one,
Guys,
yeah.
like a
Yeah.
pap smear experience.
Yes,
or
like
worse.
a pap smear experience,
And then with
but
a
now
scan gadget.
with a scan
Yes,
gadget.
yes.
Yes.
I have experienced that once.
Yes.
Before I had a baby
babies.
because my periods were not regular. I used to get them like twice in a year. So I had to go to the guy and ask, what is this? Am I not a woman or whatever? What is happening? So then I had to have that done.
Yes.
So that they see, is everything sitting in place?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the other part that is uncomfortable is you have to have a full bladder.
What?
Yes.
And then they're putting something
Yes. So your whole
It's like having
it's just
And
like
I peed before I went.
so now you start again.
You
wait.
start again. 40 minutes and I was told you drink warm water.
warm water,
Yeah.
like
So I
a
kept
liter of
drinking-
warm water.
yes.
They give you like a
Yeah.
liter of warm
Yeah,
water.
so I kept
So
drinking
now
that.
me, I go
Warm water
to
fills
pee
your
after
bladder
10
quicker.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The process is
Yeah.
faster.
They
Yeah.
tell you to avoid the cold water because you also wouldn't drink it as fast. They need you to drink this warm water fast because they also have a schedule to keep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
And it's so
there are
intrusive.
more there are better
Ways.
there are better technicians than others.
Yeah.
So there's a day you're going to meet a technician and you just want to cry.
How many days did you have to do that though?
Depends. So like when you're doing the clomid, the doctor will track your ovulation. So you'll have to do it like 3 or 4 times. So from day 10
In
to
a month?
day 14 of that cycle, of that month,
The scan.
the scan.
You keep going and doing it.
Yeah, 10 to day 14 so that
Those
it
are 4 days.
confirms that you've
So
ovulated.
every single day.
Every single day you will go for a scan.
And then
And
after
then
that
wait.
you're supposed to go and have sex.
Yes.
No.
And so on day 14,
that
after
is
he
so
sees
intense.
the egg
guys need
is,
to
you
give
know,
a
looking ripe and ready, then you go have sex. And he will ask
And
you,
then you're feeling so
you're
feeling
uncomfortable. It is, for me, I usually say it is a character development that you didn't sign up for. You did not sign
Nation
up.
hunger is up there.
Yeah.
You can give
Yeah, so that is the shocker. Then you finish like for us we did clomid for 5 months. Then I was like 5 cycles, which was like 5 months. I'm like, doctor, this is not working.
It's not working.
So he sends me to Dr. Nore, the IVF doctor there at Landmark Plaza. So he writes a very beautiful letter and he refers you to another doctor because he can't tell what's wrong.
him. He's a guy now.
He's a gyna, he's a regular gyna. So he sends you now to a fertility specialist.
They're different.
That is when your journey really begins.
Okay.
This is like
Because then you have to do so many hormonal tests. They're not covered by insurance. I remember there's one bill I got for 30,000 bob. I was like,
For just
Na hakuna malipo rahisi.
Excuse me. In 2021, who is coming up with these insurance laws? That should be covered.
it should be covered.
Yeah.
it should be.
Yeah,
They
it should
don't
be
I don't know what the
cover.
statistics is, but
It
a
is
lot of
something
women
coming
are
up.
struggling.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have an insurance person to
Yeah,
explain
it
that
should
to
be
us in a
covered.
different episode.
Yeah, so
If
you
the men
get your
making
bill.
decisions get a woman.
Wait, let me take you to the
those top
technicians.
boards.
So these technicians, are all of them men or they're all mixed?
I have only met one woman and it was at Aga Khan. The rest are all men. Okay. So,
So
every
the discomfort.
procedure,
Yeah.
it's a
Discomfort
different
is
dude.
added on.
Yeah, and then you're just for
Yeah. And depending on his mood,
him,
that
he just
day.
needs to take the
Yes.
yeah.
And
And
then
you're
it's
just a number.
yes. And then
Yeah.
You're just a number.
And you thought giving birth and exposing yourself is
Yeah.
No, and then I think because maybe it's our growing up or bringing up, we're very private when it comes to
Yes, you're not
No,
going to go and
sometimes-
open yourself.
Yeah, your private parts are private. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's when you now learn I should not wear a dress. I should wear a skirt or a trouser. Because you know the dress you have to get it all off and then wear a
Yes.
gown. But if it's a trouser, it's just the
you
bottom.
just
you
push.
So you learn, after a while you learn the tricks that make you a bit more comfortable. Then you'll say, I'll go for this scan always early in the morning. I'll not go in the afternoon because either way, early in
Yeah,
the morning
you
is
just
better.
learn the
And you give yourself the day to
to
recover.
from. So you do all these tests. Then there's a test. I remember the hormonal test. Then they check whether you actually have eggs. So there's that test as well.
Eggs issue also.
It's called AMH. So
The people who don't have eggs.
yeah, the people who are born without eggs. So they check all that. Then you're told, okay, you're fine. So now the doctor sits with you and now discusses options. Like, do you want to do injectables? Do you still want to try a combination of drugs? I mean, it's now a whole conversation
On options.
on options. Now
Now, are
there's
you by yourself?
most times, yes, because you know how, truthfully, Jamaz.
So you
And
go
then also
home
it's a
and
journey
report.
that for you to now confide in someone to walk with you other than that your jama,
Yeah.
it's hard.
It's hard. I
Yeah.
think a lot of times, well, you have friends who are really kind and will go out of their way, but there are friends who, because they don't actually know what to tell you, they stop talking to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's their way of supporting
They
you.
it becomes
They
a
don't want
very
to talk about
awkward-
it, that
yeah.
issue.
About it.
Yeah.
And at that point, your world is going crazy, and then
Yeah.
it's someone who needs to handle hormones. Because let me tell you, cry all the time, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
I am telling you, I have cried in the supermarket. I have cried while driving all the way home.
The way crying makes people uncomfortable.
I know. And you're just wailing.
But now let me
ask
ask you, was there somebody, like what Yuni said, somebody walking with somebody who has been through the same experience
Yes.
with you and taking you like, okay, let's go to, or this is what is going to happen. You know, somebody who's
For me, I didn't have that blessing. Okay. And by the time I discovered people who have been through the journey, I was way ahead in this journey. Because, interesting enough, all my friends got pregnant like almost immediately when they got
So your
married.
circle,
So your circle has babies.
yeah. Then there's Lydia.
Then there's Lydia who shows up.
Yeah.
But you know, I have to say thank you for speaking about it online, because I feel like you've demystified a lot, even for people I know who are struggling with it.
Yeah.
Because you just talk about it. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing. Like, thank you for talking about your journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the reason I share, because for me, there was no one like to reach out. By the time I met the community of women that now are in my life who, you know, have the same struggles, it was like 6 years later.
What?
So now
you
by
had
6
gone
years,
6 years you're by yourself.
by yourself. So
Oy.
Google was my friend. Google is what taught me that. So there's a test called HSG. This test finds out whether your tubes are blocked or open. Anyway, so that test is very painful. It's very sore. It's painful. It's not pleasant. Whether or not your tubes are open, it's not a pleasant test. So I Google and I realize you take painkillers before the test. So I'm like, this test that I'm going, I have to take painkillers before I go. Anyway, let me go. So I take painkillers. Then for some reason that day I told my boss, I won't show up at work today. I'm going for this test. I'm not too sure about it. So my boss is like, I take a leave day. So I took a leave day. I get to hospital. I went to Aga Khan, and I remember the guy tells me, we have to give you an injection for pain. I'm thinking, this thing that you guys are giving me injections for pain, what
It's
is
that bad.
this?
Yeah.
So first, he uses the pap smear gadget, and they pipe water through your uterus. Like, it's not
How much water?
colored liquid.
Yeah,
okay?
It's like a dye.
It's like a dye that is piped through
Yeah.
So now it colors your
your
uterus.
uterus. Then it takes an X-ray. Okay. Now, imagine foreign liquid into your uterus.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, because now your body will reject
And it has to be done on day 10. No? Was it day 10? Yeah, day 10.
You mean we are
So,
still
but let me
keeping a
ask
schedule?
you.
Yes.
Of the cycle. Of the cycle.
There are days for everything. There are days that you do tests. There are days you take drugs. There are days you do tests. There are days... Literally, your life is very scheduled.
So do you have an app? Or how do you manage that?
For me, I use an app, but
Yeah.
for most people, like you'll see calendars, yeah.
Yeah, but Lydia, we'll talk about the stereotype, the stigma, your friends,
I think
how did you the society.
I think reality one of the realities that checked in is when I was not invited for a baby shower.
Really?
I was
By
like,
your friend?
one of my friends didn't invite me for a baby shower, and I was like, how can you have a baby shower without me? I thought we were friends.
I thought we are friends.
And she's like, I thought I would trigger you. You know, you could have asked.
Yeah.
Would
Have
you
that
like to
conversation.
come?
Would you like to
Yeah.
come? And then I say yes or no.
Yeah.
You know. Then you realize, okay, there's something different about me. You're not too sure what, but you somehow get sidelined for many things then.
Baby
Then
related.
then if you're having, for example, like the times I'm doing injections, it's very hard for me to go for dinner or to do a social event
Social gatherings.
because I, like the last time I did IVF, I had to have an injection at 8 p.m.
Oh, that is also on a certain hour.
You inject at a certain hour. So now
You
it
have
means
to be home.
You're
I'm-
injecting yourself.
yes,
Injecting
Oh my
yourself,
God.
now you can't.
you can't
Yeah,
Like,
you can't go. You can't be up and about
out
Yeah.
of the house and
Yeah.
stuff. So then you realize you are turning out. Not everyone is understanding why you're saying no. But for you, it's just I have this schedule. I have to keep it. I'm not going to do. And then there's the lack of coffee. Let me tell you,
You
You
can't
like
drink
coffee?
coffee.
you don't take coffee.
You wouldn't survive.
I wouldn't. Thank God.
Infertility treatments do not agree with coffee, so you don't have coffee. And the doctor actually tells you no wine, no alcohol, no coffee.
Social events are-
So
It is.
So it's very isolating. You
Yes.
want to be
It's a
out
very
there,
lonely
and even if you're
Yeah.
So
So
you
like
want to
if
be
I'm
out there, but
meeting
you
you,
can't.
I'm going to have like herbal tea. So your socialization becomes very limited.
limited.
Yeah.
So your friend, your circle of friends also really
reduced. Yeah, because how many people are going to understand why you are busy crying anytime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lydia, she's never there.
She's never
She
there.
never comes.
Nah, she's always moody.
Moody. Oh yes, we are very moody. By then,
You're
I will
very
not lie.
moody.
We are moody.
and you're moody, understandably, because first there's hormones.
Yes.
And then there's feelings. It's a grief process. It's a lot of anxiety,
Yes.
like when you're going through the IVF treatment, which brings me back to a question I want to ask. So you've discovered you found a doctor. Please tell us about finding a doctor.
Yes.
So finding a doctor, you will meet many quacks.
Wow.
Kenyans are special like that, so you'll meet quite a number of quacks. And then there's all this referral. So your mother will have a doctor that she had in Chama, your friend will have another doctor. So all this information coming to you. So you're done to choose what doctor works for me. One, do we get along? Like for me, one, we get along. Two, you allow me to ask questions.
Yeah.
A lot of Kenyan doctors, especially the older ones, don't understand why you're asking questions. For me, it is my body. You're going to put all these hormones in. I'm going to ask you as many questions. Dr. Google and I are going to go through what you have told me, and I will come back with questions that Dr. Google did not answer. So I've met doctors who have issues with me asking questions. So that one you let go of.
Yeah.
And then for me also, something that was important for me is you keep appointments.
As a doctor, you
As a
mean?
doctor, because already I have to come to your clinic all the time. So if you don't keep appointments, it means that I will come and wait 4 hours. Then the treatment will not work because it's time.
It's time based.
It's time based. So if I got my injection yesterday at 9 a.m., I have to get my injection tomorrow at 9 a.m. If you don't keep time, then I'm wasting my time and my money.
And that's then that day is gone.
And that day is gone.
That cycle is finished. You
Oh
start
yeah.
again.
Then you start again, and these cycles
for
go
another
between
cycle.
30 to 40
Are there
days.
doctors like that though?
Yes, they are. So you just need
Shame
to
Shame
be
on them.
very clear, and then find out, has he actually done the procedures? Has he done IVF before? What is
Or
his
you're the
success?
How do you find that out?
Ask.
Yeah.
You ask them or you ask.
You ask anybody you can
Anybody.
ask.
And then on top
But
of
you
that,
see now, for you,
even their own nurses, I have learned the receptionist and the nurses at the front.
They know a lot.
Make them your friends. They
Yeah.
will tell you the truth. They'll be like,
you go.
this shida that you have, and they'll give you a card of another doctor because they know
Bless them.
here
you're wasting
you're
your time.
wasting your time.
So they're empathetic with you like that.
oh yes,
bless
especially
them.
there are some who are really okay. There's some you will still meet the mean
Yes.
ones,
Yes.
but there are others who will look at you like a small sister, like a mother. No, they'll mother you and tell you this one.
They always say everywhere, befriend the gatekeeper.
gatekeeper.
They're the
Yeah.
ones who know.
And
So,
then that helps. So just research. And nowadays the internet is your friend. Facebook has so many groups, especially IVF group Kenya. There's all these waiting rooms, trust. That someone will have asked that question before and you see the feedback. Then you're like, okay, then I won't use this doctor or this doctor. Then you want a doctor who is not absent-minded, but who listens to you, who, understands you, sympathizes with you.
So now, aside from, these groups, these communities that support, like, we'll have the information, does the doctor take you step by step, as in, okay, this is where we are now, you need to do ABC because of 1, 2, 3,
Yes. You need to find a doctor that does that. If your doctor is just giving you a treatment plan and you're not discussing it, don't go for that treatment. Because how do you understand what he's aiming for? There's, what are we aiming for? What are we working towards? So this has failed. And then a lot of the Kenyan doctors, when it fails, they don't come back and review it with you. So
they give you the next treatment.
Yes. So for me,
you don't debrief
we
from
don't
that
debrief.
treatment. So now we start a new one.
What are you
So-
feeling?
And by treatments, we're talking about the options of helping you get a baby. That's artificial insemination, IVF.
So there's IUI, which is basically artificial insemination. Then there's ICSI, which is if your partner doesn't.
The sperm is weak.
The sperm is weak, or the sperm count is very low, so they will do ICSI. And then there's now IVF.
IVF is like the
last
one.
resort. And most doctors, by the time they're getting into IVF, you've done like 3 IUIs and figured out what works for you. Yeah, so there's also drugs and injectables. So there's the pills you take, and then there's the injectables where you inject yourself.
Okay.
And you can do IUI with injectables, you can do IUI without injectables, depending on...
I'm so mind-boggled right
Even
now.
me.
I didn't even know
I didn't know
there were
how
I've only heard of IVF. So that is
And that's
all
the last
that's
one.
the
And that's
so
the
I
last
didn't
So
know.
now for you, you've gone through all the stages. How was break down them just
so-
briefly?
Artificial insemination
In summary.
is the guy pees in a cup, they clean the sperm, and then
Then they
it's
inject
timed. So, like, I will say this in a very crude way. It's like needing a cow, servicing a cow. So at that
The
time,
one we did in agriculture.
yes. So,
You did agriculture.
so on that day that they know that you're ovulating, then they feed the sperm and
Oh.
literally.
So that is on the same day. That is on the same day.
Yeah, so that's the first one. But
Okay.
before that one, before all this is happening, you've been on like pills to help you ovulate.
The hormonal
The
ones.
hormonal
Prepare your eggs.
to prepare your eggs. So you do, most of the time the doctor will tell you to do that twice.
The
AI, just to make sure that they get a
That
rhythm
chances
of how your hormones work.
Okay.
So every woman has a different signature of estrogen. Your estrogen is not the way your estrogen works in your body is not the same way for all of us. So he needs to figure out how your estrogen works. Because there's some people you can give certain drugs and they have something called, their ovaries are overstimulated, so you have to stop the cycle. So they use AI to learn your body and how it works. Then you move now to IUI, then which is a higher dose now of drugs, and then
The same process.
the same process, but now they also do a lot more scanning to make sure that the eggs are growing and how they're developing. Like how many follicles do you get? Like, hey, I had 8. You'll hear
Scientific.
you'll hear a discussion of, hey, you guys, I had 8 follicles. That's a good thing because it means you have 8 eggs that are growing, which is a good thing.
I hope
Even
there's a
learn the
support group though.
There is.
I know, yeah.
Then after that, I mean, so you do like 3 IUIs. The third one is usually with injectables, so that they now figure out exactly what is wrong. Like literally, I remember I used to have blood work day 1, day 3, day 5, and day 7. P.S. You're paying for all this blood work yourself from your pay. From your pocket. So just to confirm that the drugs is giving me actually working, that I'm producing enough estrogen, and that is why we are a whole bunch of mess of tears, because
Because they don't have
I was gonna ask Lydia, because also time. I was gonna ask, as you're going through all this, where are you? Are you there? You know, because
Psychologically.
you know, because
Yeah,
sometimes
I
you're
wanted
just
to find
you're
out.
really a zombie. You're
Yeah.
like, I wake up at
Psychologically.
8, I go to the hospital by 9. Like, you could be on autopilot.
Yes.
You know, so
There are
are you
days.
there?
How do you
What's
manage?
helping you cope? Because now you need to tell our other moms who watch Mum Nation, like, who are going through this journey. How did you cope? What is the one thing? What did you hold on to? Minus the hope of having a child, and then we'll go now to where you are now. But when you're going through all this, especially since you did it alone, and I'm sure there are guys out there feeling like, I'm alone. Perhaps they, people are also different. I can't reach out on a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group. So they're in a corner alone.
Or you can't even afford those treatments. And even
you
afford
can't, and then you're shunned by your community. You're that chick over there in the corner, in your
and you feel
family,
there's no hope.
everyone. So where was Lydia? What was going on?
I think mentally, at some point, you check out, truthfully. It's just day after day. Literally, I used to tell people, you ask God for grace for that day. You don't even need it for the next day, just
day
that
at a
day. And then, for me, journaling really helped. So I write what I'm feeling, how hurt I am, how angry. And then P.S., you will get angry at God. It is okay. Just get angry. It is okay. As in, it's a safe space to be angry. I remember there's a time I was so angry at God, I would not go to church. I went to church and the pastor on Mother's Day said something that triggered me. I walked out. So I don't think he didn't know that he was triggering me. But I was in a huff and a puff in the middle of the sermon, picked my bag noisily. I'm done.
You are done with church.
And then when you go to the church, you go to the malls, they are full of
mothers
with
children.
So you don't. But then for me, I would not go to the mall on Mother's Day or near there because who is a mother? Stand up, and the whole church, and then they're given flowers, and so you're seated there just.
Let me give you a hug for that.
I felt it. Or the kids
You
are
and
called
your
from
hormones.
Sunday school
And then maybe that's
to
the
give
day
their
she injected
parents,
in the morning.
and then you injected in the morning yourself. So you are
You
born
injected
of
yourself in the
hormones.
morning. Oh.
Next
And-
time, stand up in faith. I'm
and then the
injecting
kids-
to have a baby. We stand up.
We are all mothers.
And then the kids do little cards in Sunday school and bring for
Bring
their
to their
kids,
moms.
moms. So it's a whole lot of triggers.
Yeah.
So for me, I just made it a rule on Mother's Day. I do not go to church. I do not have conversation. I'll send my mom a very nice text, but that's it. Just for my well-being and my sanity.
Your mental. Yeah.
At some point, I just chose that the baby showers I go for are very few, and you're very close to me. As in, it's a baby shower that I would even be insulted if I didn't show up. Otherwise, I'll send you money for the gift. Are we buying a gift? Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
What did you hold on to? What kept you going?
I think for me, it was an internal drive that I must have a child.
Amen.
I must. For me, internal pressure was a lot more than the external pressure because my family is still very, like, they guard my feelings, they guard my, whatever I say, they support it. If I say I'm done, I'm done.
Okay.
So I have that very good support system. So the internal pressure was more that, how can I not have a child? This must happen. And then
I had a plan.
I had a plan. I wanted 3 boys at this time. By 35, I was done. I had all these plans. And they're not happening. And so there's also a lot of grieving. There's a lot of anger, a lot of loss, a lot of... So there are days, literally, I would put off my phone. And just moan and cry and just feel sad for myself. And then you can't have coffee.
Or wine. Or alcohol.
Alcohol.
Sometimes you need something hard and strong. Mum juice.
You can't have any of that.
Yeah.
So you just sit
Disappear.
and moan. And which
You are
is
wrong with
fine.
your emotions.
the other thing for me was now when I started writing the pain out, it was better.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I think
That
for
was your
every
outlet.
person, you need to figure out what works. For me,
Your
and then
outlet.
once I started sharing my journey, it became easier.
Okay.
Yes.
Because then, like I
Yeah, the more you
remember,
talk.
we were at work and guys at lunchtime were discussing something, and I said, today in the evening I have to go see the doctor. They were like, why? So when I explained, everyone was like, So
go
it's
through.
so then you realize people don't even know what you're going through because you're keeping quiet.
Exactly.
But that takes a while for you to
Yeah.
actually start opening up. About
Because
it.
we're not taught that infertility is something you can discuss over
It's a shame.
And you see,
As
it's
in,
a shame.
yeah, we have to be, it's a taboo to be
It is those
fertile.
things that we
Yeah.
hide. I've had people saying the way their neighbors gossiped about them. Thank God, my neighbors never had that time. But people have told. There are people who that there's a lady I met whose children, the neighbor's children were told not to go to her house.
Yeah.
She's
Or they'll trigger her.
no, she's a witch. That's why
What?
she doesn't have children.
As
As in, you're going to hear those stories.
Yeah.
And you're going to hear people who've just gone through so much because their community was not accepting. But at least for me, I've never had... Yes, I've had a few moments where I'm like, are you serious? That came out of your mouth. As in,
There are
literally...
also
and you believe that.
There are also those ones who suggest for you what to do.
Oh, yes. The suggestions. People, let me tell you, do not send us suggestions. We don't want them. We have had them. We don't want them.
And you know what?
The
We don't
professionals
want
have
them.
also given you suggestions.
The professionals have told us how to put our legs up for a certain amount of time. Pineapple core does not work. We can't eat pineapple core the whole 14 days of
Pineapple code.
The
I've
hard part
had a
of the
picture in
pineapple.
my mind. You're eating a pineapple core, your legs are up.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the...
I know.
Lydia, please talk
Those are
to
myths.
us to what did you wish you knew, or what did you wish you had at the realization. As soon as the gyna now sent you to the fertility doctor, there's someone who's just been sent today. There's someone who's just recently
Found out.
living the reality of I have to go to a fertility doctor. Please just talk to us what you wish you knew, what you wish that person knows for their journey ahead.
One, that it is a long journey. It's not short. It's not a quick fix. Yeah, it's a long journey. And then trust people. Trust people with your truth. If they prove not trustworthy, fine, but trust people with your truth. I think if I had told people, I told very few of my friends what I was going through, but I suspect if I had told more, then I would have had a bigger support system.
But you'd have also had bigger trolls, more trolls.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a
So
tight
probably
balance.
It's a tight balance.
Everything with the season.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when you're tired, say you're tired. When you're done, say you're done. And then please grieve. Just it's a loss. I think as a woman you're always I want. So there's no point you pause and ask, is my body okay? Am I okay mentally? We're just
Going through the motions.
Next.
and then following that, then when you hear that this doctor is doing miracles, you don't need to see that doctor if you're not comfortable.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of
Find
hype
that
and trends that cultic trends, as I sometimes say, where we're all going to see this one doctor because we believe he carries all the solutions. Find a doctor that carries your solution,
Not
everyone's solution.
So did all this throughout this journey, all these processes, did any of them even work to a certain level? Like for example, did you conceive and maybe have a
I've never
miscarry or
conceived.
something? Oh.
Yeah, I've never conceived, which is, I think, is a bigger loss. If you ask me. Anyway, because then you're like, I remember there's a time I asked myself, Lydia, you have a uterus and eggs and
Everything
ovaries,
is there.
Everything is there.
but you can't give. how am I a woman then? And then
I know, you question your womanhood.
you question your womanhood
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
And then you're hearing stories like, I remember there's a time one of my closest friends, the sister decided she's aborting this child and is not keeping the baby.
Oh.
I was like, how? She just needs to drink water. Literally, she's pregnant, I
Other people,
remember,
it's harder.
I know. I
was just
remember.
wondering, water. Then
But I used to say it's something in the water, and I'm not understanding why it's not in my water. I remember there's a time a lot of my former workmates were all pregnant at the same time until
And
someone
that happens
asked.
a lot,
Yeah,
by the
that
way.
happens.
That
And
happens
someone
a
asked,
lot.
even a lady in her 40s, I said, everyone was pregnant. And our boss asked, is it something in the water? I was like, then I need to find out.
This water.
This water.
Maji ya uzima.
Maji ya uzima. I mean, we all drink from the same.
yeah.
Dispenser?
Yeah.
You, when you went to that section, was not there.
It was not there.
No,
That added
it
something.
missed me. So, I mean, there are moments you laugh at yourself because of just the sheer craziness of things.
All that.
And then,
The weight it's been put
and the
on.
weight and the weight,
Yeah.
and then waiting becomes your friend. I'm not sure people know how much patience it takes to do a cycle. It fails, then you go to another cycle. It fails, then another cycle. It fails, to a point where you become numb. And I remember,
Autopilot.
you become autopilot, and that's when for me I said, we need to stop for now. I need to regroup and I need to heal, because it's trauma. As much as infertility is trauma, you cannot explain to me what else it can be. It is traumatic. It is invasive, one.
Yeah.
Because yesterday I even put a Facebook post about it. Do you know this guy, when he's doing this scan, puts a condom and some blue cold gel lube into your vagina to do the scan.
Yeah.
It is not pleasant.
Yeah,
It is traumatic, and especially because this is not regular, normal.
Yeah.
A scan is a scan. I mean, when
A
you
scan
go
is
for
not
a
a
head
scan.
scan,
Yeah.
There's no
there's no vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is just very invasive. So it's very traumatic, and so you need to heal the trauma. So when you realize it's not working, as a lady who's like, you've gotten the letter today, first, as yourself, decide what am I going to do and not do. I never did that, and it's a phase you need to go through. You need to accept that the letter has come. And it's not, you being sent to this doctor may or may not work, and you need to accept that fact as you start the journey, so that you also pace yourself. Otherwise, you will do every.
So you need to process every stage.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to process every stage.
Accept
Otherwise, you will do
the cheesy.
craziness.
Yeah.
I mean, you Google things that you didn't think you could Google, like whether wearing socks makes
A difference.
IVF work better.
And then you know the way, and then you know those, like now,
I know, she makes it so.
you know, then when you Google these things of infertility and whatever,
Yes.
so now see all your socials are connected.
Yes.
Then you start getting
Yeah.
those posts.
Now they're always there
it
on your
starts,
feed.
yeah,
Like
that is
my-
what is on your feed.
All my Instagram suggestions are usually IVF clinics.
Yeah. Programs and
programs.
things.
It's
and
magnified
things like
in
that.
your world.
Yeah, so it is. So you need to truly, I wish I'd processed every step. Like if the IUI didn't work, I wish I'd taken time out to just process that the loss happened. Because then it becomes accumulated trauma. And then if
You
you're
don't deal with
depressed, please go find a therapist or a counselor, because depression does happen.
Yeah.
So find a therapist.
But maybe it's good to just start working with a counselor from the beginning.
Yes,
think
if
so.
you
If
can,
you can.
if you can afford it and you want to, please work with a counselor, and then cut your husband some slack, please, because then truthfully they're fixing a problem and they don't know how to. So he's going to be grumpy, going to be moody, more moody than you are. So you're two moody people in the house.
You have to deal.
You have to deal.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just that. Just deal every day, and then have fun, laugh more. find a group of people that make you laugh.
Okay.
And when you know someone is going through like the IVF, the IUI and stuff, go visit. Okay, there might be a day they don't visit us, but on the day they're willing for you to go over, please go
Reach out.
over, reach out, take them for, go bring the, Kwanzaa, there was a friend of mine who'd bring me a bar of dairy milk chocolate. That was the highlight of my day. And don't ask me why, because I'm not even a chocolate lover. But just that fact that they brought me a dairy milk chocolate, or they,
It's a love,
or they brought me my favorite sandwich from Java, or just small things. And so that you start slowly opening up and healing, because then there's no one. Truthfully, very few people will talk about the experience. Is when you're in the experience, is when they'll be like, oh, not even me. It took me 10 years to get a child.
And it had to take.
And
time.
you had no idea.
Why didn't you share with me?
Yeah.
Why didn't you? Oh, it's such a private thing. No, because the tips you would have given me are more useful than the person who hasn't gone through it. So reach out. And that's why for me, I always reach. If you reach out to me like on Facebook, on Instagram, and tell me I'm going through IVF, I will make time and look for you, and we will have coffee or tea. Okay, we'll have tea because you can't
have coffee.
And I'll talk. If you want me to go to hospital with you, we'll go to hospital together. Because for me, no one did it. Because we're just silent about it, and we can no longer be silent. It's just
Your journey has been for how long?
So now it's year 10.
So are you still trying?
Now I'm at the point of acceptance that this dream has died. But I might be shocked one day that miracles do happen. But for me, I'm at the acceptance of.
You're okay.
I'm okay. Though my gyna still
Has hope.
We hope with you.
And we have to keep hope alive.
Yes. But for me, I was like, we need to get to a place of acceptance. So I stopped looking for a solution. No. Yeah.
Sam. Wow. Thank you so much. It's such a heavy. Then you've made it fun. Then you've educated us.
I know,
Then you whatever. Guys, please reach out. We'll leave her handles in our social media pages. What's your Instagram handle?
Instagram.
Nyandia Swahi.
And Facebook.
Lydia Ndiho.
We'll also tag them. We'll put a link. Please reach out to her because she is the only one who'll understand what you're going through.
That's true.
Someone who's gone through it. Lydia, I have one question. What do you wish the rest of us who don't struggle with infertility, minus the suggestions and everything,
Minus the pineapple.
Yes.
And the bitter thing.
When we started this, whatever, we said, mind your uterus.
Yes.
But what do you think? What's the one thing you wish you could just tell us all in a blanket?
Yeah.
Stop doing, or two things.
One, mind your uterus. Don't ask me when the baby is coming. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then be my friend. I think that's...
We should stop saying hi to you. Hi, Lydia.
Hi, Lydia. Oh, you avoided any progress.
Yeah. Because the churches are such culture.
Yes.
Like even when you're trying,
family
when you're newly
functions.
married,
Yeah.
and you're trying and you haven't decided. Ukishamaliza 1 year, it's like there's a calendar somewhere they
Yes.
punch for you.
Yeah. Yes.
And everyone is
Anniversary. The next time you go to church,
No, they don't see your face.
mind
They're
your
all
uterus.
Please.
whispering.
Church aunties, church mothers, you don't need to come and lay hands. You don't need... Just buy me... I mean, literally call me to your house to have lunch.
And honestly have the lunch.
And honestly have lunch with me and
Unless I
move
bring
on.
it up, yeah?
Unless I bring it up.
Yeah, that's really. But I wanted to ask her one thing that you didn't mention. It's called secondary infertility.
Yes.
What is that?
So you may have had a child before, and then no child comes after.
And you're trying for the second
And you're
one.
trying for the second one, and it's
And
not
now,
happening.
if you have a girl, we're asking, where's the boys? If
Boys.
you have a boy, we're asking, where's the girl?
Yeah, but then
Where's
my
the second
mother-in-law
born?
will be for like, was this child my son's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now those are the things a woman
my
who
mother
has
even.
secondary infertility has to deal with.
Yeah.
The fact that that you know that you can carry a baby.
But
You
then
know
that's
that
not
you know
becoming.
that you can conceive and bring forth a baby full term.
Even
And then
your
it's not
husband will
happening.
ask.
And then
Even you don't understand.
even you don't understand.
Yeah. Like, imagine if you ask me, we're all together. Let's ask.
Yeah.
Each other.
Talk to the uterus.
Yeah, but he'll be like, so was
This
is
and
this
then
son mine?
you have to deal with the suspicions of
Yes.
you must deal
suspicion.
with
Yeah.
the suspicions of did you get this child from your husband?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
He'll be
I
the first
think
one
I
to
want
ask.
to cut us there.
Yeah.
And then, Lydia, we'd really love to have you back on another shoot to talk about now you're a mom through adoption.
Yes.
We'd like to know what that process is like. We'd also like to celebrate mothers in that space. Like motherhood is just, I mean,
It's wide.
that is motherhood. Motherhood is not
Motherhood and
only
full stop.
conceiving and, you know. So we'd like to explore that conversation with you and secondary infertility. Maybe we can do that. But for now, really, like, I feel so informed.
Yeah.
I feel so loved.
Same here. So
Thank you for loving us and explaining. I feel so privileged because sometimes you're not sure, and you see these murky waters make things worse.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I know I can feel that person who will walk out because I don't want to make your life unbearable just because I'm not sure. So really, I really appreciate that you've taken your time to take us through what it is like from you. And you're bold and you talk about it. Me, I'm grateful.
You're
Like,
very brave.
for real. And that's the thing. Like, it's I've liked one thing Lydia has said. Life is not fair. Lydia has said you have to deal. That's just profound. You have to deal. There's someone with a child there's someone who lost a child, there's someone who lost their life. Like, we just have to deal, you know, and talk about it and create. Please, I mean, take a notebook, learn all those things. If you don't struggle with it, learn it so that next time you're even able, you're the one who will suggest to other people to stop telling people to eat pineapple cause. I joke. But guys, thank you so much for watching. This is a long one. We appreciate. Please like, subscribe, share. This is one to share, guys. This is one to share and spread the word so that we demystify this thing. Remember, society is you and I. We are those aunties who greet people like this.
No, me.
Stop it.
Yeah.
And mind your
Uterus.
your uterus.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. We love you. And thank you, Lydia.
Thank you, Lydia. And we'd like to appreciate Lydia
Yes,
for being
we'd like to
on
appreciate
our
Lydia.
show today.
First guest number one.
Yeah, guest number one first. So first, Dettol. Yes, you get to go and sanitize.
Thank you.
Yes.
On behalf of Excel, we are all stakeholders in Excel.
Yes.
Jewelry on this set is by Excel. What is Excel? Excel is a woman-owned, Kenyan-made, what's the other one? Kenyan, brand that makes jewelry and accessories. And we are proud to be associated with it. And on behalf of Mumnation, we want to really appreciate you for coming and sharing your story. We love you so much, Lydia. Thank you. You have no idea.
Oh, thank
So
you.
that's from Mumnation
Yes.
Yes.
to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was lovely to hang out with you ladies and to laugh.
Yeah.
Do this
Eh?
all day. But once again, guys, like, subscribe, and this one is one for sharing.
Yes.
Please share.
Share
Yes.
everywhere to
Share
everybody.
everywhere. And yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you, Lydia. God bless you. God bless you all. We love you. Bye.